Hello and welcome to H. Paul Models. This episode I'm going to be building the Airfix Vintage Classic Handley Page Hampden. I've seen a lot of reviews and they're not exactly shining in its recommendation, so I wanted to see for myself how good or bad it is. So let's crack on! Well, the kit's out the box. I can see no real issues. I mean, the Lewis guns look defined enough. There's a little bit of flash on that pin there, but it certainly doesn't look as though it deserves some of the negative press it's been getting. Raised rivets, but that's because it's an old mould. Whatever, I don't mind, don't bother me. So yeah, I think perhaps sometimes it's being compared to more modern kits, and maybe it shouldn't be, because this is a classic and I love the old classics. So yeah, whilst I'm building it, I'm going to see if I can add any scratch built parts to it as well. I'm looking for a date stamp, if anything, if I can find one, but there appears to be none, which is a shame because I was hoping there would be. But anyway, I digress. Let's get to building. So I'm started with the cockpit as per the instructions, and there are a few mould lines. I wouldn't say there isn't, and they are quite prominent. But this is an old model, so it's an old mould even, so it's something to be expected. So it's just I'm cleaning them off. Yeah, modern kits don't have this so much, but it's not a modern kit, and that's one of the reasons why I like these, because yeah, part cleans up all right. It's not a massive thing. I've done the other parts like the seat and everything else, and it's all doesn't seem too bad actually. I've had worse kits from Revel, and I've had worse kits from Airfix. Yeah, it's okay so far. Pilot figure, I found that in the instructions it says cut his legs off. Well, I'm not willing to do that. So I think if I cut out this skirt thing here, he can fit around the control column there. So I'm going to use my little saw and see if I can't just tidy his legs up like this. Now this is a faff, I must admit. This is not a nice thing to have to do, because most of Airfix crew are usually pretty good, but this one seems to be, I'll just cut his legs off. Well, no, I don't want to. So I'm going to cut this gap out between his legs very carefully, because when I put him in the seat, his hand actually touches the control column, and to damage him would just seems a bit silly really. Okay, for the Hampden crew, I've got some blue. It's not the right colour blue because I've run out of RAF blue and I'm waiting on delivery, but this will do. It's a bit of a bright blue, but at least they'll stand out in front of the aircraft. I will give them an oil wash to darken it a little bit, don't worry. Oh dear, things I do. Now, some of these figures had quite horrendous injection mould marks on them. I've done my best to file it off so it doesn't notice. But yes, unfortunately they were quite disfigured in places. So I've done my best with them, and now I'm painting them a really obnoxious blue, so they must feel really happy with themselves at the moment. Right, that's him done. Now let's move on to the next one. Parts painted. The detail that I've made is, what I've done is I've basically turned the colours about. So 78 and then black on the seat and the pilot seat and the control column. So the cockpit floor has got to go in there, notified by the very good raised surfaces. So a little bit of Revel along there. just hold it in position until that tacks, I think. In my parts bin I found this part of an aircraft. I don't know which one it was from. Strange thing is I already painted it and then it was discarded and I can't remember why, but I am thinking about dropping it in there just to add a little bit of detail. I don't see any reason why not. So getting the old Revel and just giving that a bit of a splurge on there. I'm putting that panel in there because I can. Oh yeah, I'm going to bring it back from the window a little bit, and then there's a bit of detail that you may be able to see through the cockpit window. Quite like that. So to the interior I've added this panel just to give it a bit of detail, and I've added a bit from my parts bag and some of that elastic thread I use for rigging, and painted it copper colour to look like cables, I suppose. Yeah, I just thought I'd add a little bit of flair to it. Poor old girl. The crew are all painted and I've given them an oil wash to dumb down that horrific blue. They all look suitably dirty, so I think that's passable. I just got to paint their boots because obviously they're pegged in at the moment. Once that's done, I shall stick them in the model. Starting with the tailplane now. Next set of instructions while all these guys dry. I've got some injection mould points, so with a sanding stick I'm just going to remove the worst. It's not really bothering me. It's part of having one of these in your stash. It's all about the joy of adjusting it to fit together, I think. There we go, that will do nicely. So we'll hit glue. And then drop that in there. Hopefully it'll go in alright. I did dry fit it, you saw me do it. There we go, get one of my little crop clips. Squeeze that top oh, come here. That top together. Come on. I've got all fingers and thumbs. There we go, that one. And then do the same with that one. Like that. Hold it together. And do the next one, and next one, and next one until we're done. After some filing and fettling, it's now time to put the tailplane together. The elevator in. I'm going to try and not glue that. Yeah, we know. So what I'm going to do is just fix it away from where the elevator is, and then run some tammy around the outside and not, hopefully, capture the elevator. I'll lower that down there, bring that together, and then employing more of my crocodile clips, clamp it round. Right, putting the crew in. I've got the pilot in his seat, but I've had to make him lose his left leg. I didn't want that to happen, but unfortunately it is what it is. So using a bit of Tamiya, just get him to sit down and behave himself. There we go, I can stay in there. And then we have the navigator, which is figure number 19, which is that one. Get rid of a crop clip. This one I might use another glue apart from Tamiya, because he's not going to sit on there with anything else, I'm going to use the old Airfix glue, because that will allow me to leave him be while he's sticking, because it's very tacky and lovely. It's glue, so stick that on there, and then sit him down on his stool. So it means it just stays there straight away, there's no mucking around, which is brilliant. So he's there. He's there. Now the rear upper gunner I should say, who is number 7, 17, 7. That's strange. I must have written 17 by mistake. Here we go, bit of that glue. Oh Bennett mate, you're in a tight space. Cripes, you don't look very happy about it. He's really squished up. And I've got to wait for the piece to dry because I forgot to fit it, but I'll fit the lower rear gunner when that piece is dry and I've got the seat in it, and I'll show you what the interior looks like before I join the halves together. So far though, it's looking pretty good. Right, the last piece of the fuselage that I'm going to fit at this point is the back of the Bombay and the little seat. Now the seat part wasn't in the kit, so using my piece of donor plastic, the margarine tub lid, I made him a seat. So again, using Humbrol's own polycement, a little bit on there, and he can sit there in the rear. Oh crikey, that's it, he's on. Sit there just like that, and I'll let him go off, and then we can assemble the fuselage halves. The tail components dry, I'm going to join the fuselage halves together. I've checked everything, it's all where it should be, so as my usual, fill up the pots. I'm not doing that one because there should be a gun in there, but I'm not going to put it in there. I don't like it the way it's looking. So along there, and then I'll join the seams up properly with Tamiya, but I do like to anchor the pots in first, so just carefully lower that together as best as I can line it up. Lucy wants to visit, excuse me. Come on in. Oh, cat misses me. I'll let that settle for a few minutes. That's had a few minutes to settle. I'm using Tamiya. I'm just going to take it down all the seams, just to, coin one of my phrases, seal the deal. That needs another clamp on it, I think, by the looks of that. Let's give that a squishing. It has to be like that. There we go. I do like to clamp things, I don't know what's up with me. Go on there. And along there. And along there. All the seams basically. I'm just going to swipe with Tamiya and then give it an hour or so to just go off, do its job that we all know it can do. So very well. Just a piece there. When I remove the tape, I can just do these bits as well, but there were pots there, so I'm not too fussed about those, so I'll let them go off and then we'll have a tidy up, remove the tape, do any more joints I need to do, and go from there. Whilst the fuselage half, the last few bits are glued together, whilst they're clamped and that sort of thing, I'm going to do the wings. So first of all I'm going to dry fit them. I think that's only wise, just to make sure they do actually go together. They do, I mean a little bit, but I mean it's a 1968 mould. What's to be expected? It's a bit of flash, but that's what these things are for. So yeah, I'm going to start getting these together. So as usual with any large part, get the revel and give that a smidge, that a smidge, that one, that one. You'll notice I'm not fitting the ailerons in. I've decided to do something with those later. And there, offer the parts up and put them together. And then using crocodile clips, because I like these, clamp it together while the pot's dry, like thus. Whilst the fuselage and the wings dry, time to assemble the tailplane surfaces and controls. So starting underneath, I know it's underneath because there's the hole for the rear wheel. Take in some revel, a little spot on each one. In the underside component and dropping that into place. I didn't do any dry fitting for this, I've got that much faith in these vintage classics. And then drop that one into place. There we go. That one's not gone as well as the other one, but that's what filler's for. As I keep saying in the video, it's a 1968 mould. It's not going to be perfect, but that's what I like about these old vintage classics. They don't have to be. And then for the top sections, same again. Little dribble on each. And then place them on the aircraft tail section. Like that. And like that. I must admit, for a 1968 moulding, that isn't bad. Now I'm just going to make sure that they're square with the under sections, because that would look awful if they weren't. So the first major issue of this build, the rear tailplane section, it's awful. It is really, really bad. So with the loose tailplane, what I've done is cut a bit of sprue off, super glued it onto the end of the model. That will then fit on there, and I can glue it, and it's not got that much movement now. So what I'm now going to do is get Revel's own, not Revel's, Humbrol's own filler. Pop a bit of that in there, just like that. Not too much, just enough to do what I want it to do. Get that off of there. It's going to squidge out, but it is what it is. And then I'm just going to push that home into the tailplane and push it onto the model like that. Square it up, because that's the problem I've been having. Every time I try and square it up, it's falling off the model. So get it square like that, and then get it square with the flat surfaces of the under wing here. Yep, just double check that again. Put it on its back really, I suppose, and have a look at it. Yep, I think that's about as good as I'm going to get it. That's it, let the filler go off, and then I'll run some tammy around it just to make sure. And what I'll do is, just to make sure it has time to cure, I'm going to stand it up like that and just let it set. Now I've got a little bit of tidying to do here and there with my little grinding tool there and that. Then I've got some filling to do, but I think that's on and it'll stay there. Towel plane is on. I had some lot of fettling and fillering and stuff, and once it's dry I'll go back and give it a light buff with the sanding stick. And now fitting the wings, I think I'm going to need this. Possibly this, and most likely this. Let's have a go. It looks too thick, that piece there. Yeah. I was right, it's too thick. So yeah, I'm beginning to change my mind on the reviews. Perhaps the Hampden isn't certainly not worth the retail price it's been given, I think. Yeah, that's awful. It just doesn't even want to go in there, and if I forced it I'll probably break something. So have to use a bit of ingenuity. Does this side fit? Does that give me a break? Probably not. No. And they are definitely squashed and fitted together, so there's no reason why they shouldn't. Okay, time for a bit of power tooling, I think, or dremeling, or whatever it's called, if I can find it. Where'd it go? This little thing, and one of these. Oh, broken the box. Silly arse. I mean, oops. And I'm probably going to use this little sander to see if I just can't take some of that plastic off. I'm going to work on the bottom, not the top. If I flip the wing over like that, put it on a slower speed, move the model out of the way so it doesn't get covered in crap, and just very carefully sand that surface down. I'm just going to tidy that up. I know no one's going to see it, but it matters to me. Just give that a tidy. And you see how that fits now. I might need to take more off, I don't know yet. Yeah, well, you saw how much I took off that, and it's still not going in. So I'm going to work on this wing, and then I'll show you where I get to. Right, that's done. I've had to remove most of the bottom part of the tab. That's not good, I'm afraid. That is not good. So it does go in now, and if I form it against the fuselage it does give me a clean line, but underneath it's quite a terrific gap. But that's probably where I ground it rather than the model, perhaps. So yeah, I'm going to do the other one, get that fitted, and then we'll think about fixing the wings on. Right, after much fettling and fiddling, I've got the wings to go in, but it's not good, I'm afraid. I'm going to have to use Humbrol's own glue them in, and then use quite a lot of filler to fill those gaps. It is what it is. I bought the model to build it, so I'm going to build it. But in hindsight, what I wish I'd done now is cut that bottom tab off completely, glue it, and then backfill it. I wish I'd done that now, but anyway, it's too late now. I am where I am. So let's get to fixing these wings on. So with a little bit of what's it called? Humbrol's own finest. I'm going to set one wing on, get it square, and then set the other wing on, square it to that one. And a nice big blob of that. I don't know if there's any point putting on the bottom really, but I'll do it anyway. And then slide that in as carefully as I can. I've got a cotton bud ready, so I'm just going to wipe off the excess. Just see if I don't get any bulges of glue or anything. A little bit, but nothing to worry about. And hold that together like that. Get my cotton bud. Give that a swipe. Go underneath. I'm not too fussed about the underneath really, to be honest. And then I'll just let that set. So I'm going to put that like that, so it's square with the bottom of the model, and just hold it there for 5 minutes. Yeah, this has been quite disappointing, but I was expecting a much after the tail plane fiasco, so it is what it is. Okay, I built a contraption for setting the wings up. So what I've got is I've got the Hampden level on the board using a sanding stick and the Tamiya to hold it in place. Got a newer sanding stick with a Revel to hold it in place. So my plan is to get this wing using Humbrol Zone again. Nice big gloopy bits. Put that away before it squirts everywhere. We don't want that. Cotton bud out the ready. Lift it up and then put that wing in there very slowly. Come on, you went in before. Oh no, there we go, it's in. Right, and then just, there's no squidging, that's good. What about the bottom? I'll do a little bit. I think I'll just put a fingerprint on the top of the fuselage. Never mind. Then I'm going to lay it down and get, oh, stop moving everything, you great big banana head. And then get my sanding stick, level it up as best I can. Put that in place there. I'm just going to double check to make sure that is level before I let it dry. I think it needs to go like that really, so I could bring them up, sanding stick in a bit closer. Okay, the wings are on and the joints are good. Whilst I was waiting for them to dry, I did the clear parts, masked them, fitted them. The only one I've got left to do now is the one under the rear gun position. So I'm just working out how that goes on, which appears to be that way. Yep, so what I'm going to do first is slot the Lewis guns into place. So I've already made holes in the masking tape, so just push them in and it's in. Oh, he says, let's drop that in there like that. Now what I'm going to be careful of course, is the gunner's feet. Those guns are upside down, just realised. Put them around the right way. So I'm going to push them hard against the plastic, like that and like that, just so they're positioned nicely. Get the Tamiya. And then just very gently put a bit in there, and then put a bit in there. Now they're glued in. Just going to let them cure for a few minutes. And then hopefully they'll fit in there with his feet. Like they don't. Oh dear, this build has been very testing. There we go, they're in. they're in. Right. Oh, this build has been testing, but I've really, even though I was moaning during the wing bit, I've enjoyed it so far. It's been alright. It's been a test. That's what it's been, a test. Now we'll try and get that centre. It's got a nice little ridge to centre the clear part in. So we just get that centred as best we can. That's it. And I can see I'm going to have to use a little bit more filler on this as well. And just ever... oh, moved it. Idiot. Put that back down again. See what we can do with this. That's it, trying to get those guns in centre of the rear of the aircraft. That's it. Let's do that side. There we go. And then I'll just put a little bit up here to, as I say frequently, seal the deal. On the top of the fuselage there's this component. It's a radio mast, I think, and it's just so full of flash and so full of... I've tried to clean it up, but I've given up. So I've made one out of 30 amp fuse wire. So I'm going to do that for other parts of the aircraft as well, the little pitot tubes, that sort of thing, because they're all just too bulky, too covered in flash. So a bit of scratch building, we'll see the little components finished. So to fit my new radio aerial, I'm going to drill a hole slightly back from the existing hole because it's way too big for a 30 amp fuse wire, and just very gently try and get it in the middle. Just drill a hole in there with a good old pin vise. And then slot that in its place like that. Tiniest amount of super glue onto a cocktail stick. I'll just stick that in its place and then that will be that fitted. You may notice I've got the engine cowlings and my Dremel type tool out because I don't fit the model, they're way too thick. So I've got to do a little bit of grindage, which is unfortunate. they now fit nice and snug, no problems at all. Little bit of fettling and they're on. Cool. Engines are together, yet more filing and fettling, so I didn't film it, I just did it. I'm sure you're all sick of it now. I know I'm getting that way. And they're fitted, and I've jammed them up against the wings using the metal weight V things just to hold them in place. The green does look different because it hasn't been varnished yet, but I'll do that soon enough. And then we can think about fitting the exhausts, the landing gear and all the other stuff. Come to the point of assembling the wheels ready for the landing gear, and surprise surprise, these little parts here, what I call the hubcaps or whatever they are, don't fit. So oh dearie me, I just don't want to go in. Nope, that is not going to go in. Before it changes its mind. Getting near the end now, so fixing the landing gear. So I'm going to use super glue because I want it to stick almost instantly, and I'm using the glue away from the model first. That's like that, and then I'll put it into the engine and then pull it up into its brackets. Now I didn't do this during initial build because I don't see how you can paint the landing gear, so I'll just let the super glue bind it, and then we'll do the next one. The part for these ailerons, too covered in flash, so I'm quickly going to make one out of a paper clip. So using my pliers, just going to bend it over on itself like that. Using my next mark, these pliers were marked but I can't go into why, but it was when I worked at BAE and I used to build a link for a certain contract, but I'm not going to go into it. And then cut them off like that. Pair of tweezers, give that a good dunking in super glue. Oh, I'll probably end up pinging now, you watch. And then just in the little slot that's already there, put it in there and let it cure, and I'll paint them black towards the end. Other paper clip parts, a pitot tube, bottom of the aircraft. So I've made just a bent bit of paper clip, bit of super glue on there. Oh, crikey, dropped it. Now, of course, I can't pick it up. And just drop it into the hole that I drilled earlier. Push it in, and then that can sit there and go off to be painted black when the glue's gone off. It's just that the parts from the kit are just, they're too covered in flash, too bigger mould lines. I'm not even going to bother with them. I'd rather just scratch build parts to go in their place like that. And there we are, my version of the Handley Page Hampden. I do like a little Popeye motif. I started the video with, is it as good or as bad as they say? Having built it, I'm going to say it's in between the two. It's not as good as modern Airfix kits, and it's not as good as some of the other vintage classic kits. But if you want to practice your modelling skills, your filing, your removing panel lines, all that, mould lines, all that sort of thing, then yes, it's a good kit. Would I buy it again, or would I recommend it to someone? Probably not. Sorry Airfix, but you can do better. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Cheers.